It's officially a Liverpool and Man City title race. The two outstanding candidates that I've seen in the last few weeks have emerged. I don't think there's anyone else, unless Arsenal can do something crazy and win every single game from now until the end of the season. I don't see that happening. And Aston Villa, they're outperforming where they should be, and they're doing exceptionally well. But let's be real. It's Liverpool versus Man City. It really has been for the last 6 or 7 years. The only side to really stop City in the Champions League was Liverpool. The only side to stop Liverpool winning more Premier League titles is Man City. Look, we've got Liverpool sides with Jurgen Klopp who have come second with 97 points, who won the league title with 99 points during COVID. So both sides, I think, have been culpable of getting the other side geared up into being robotic machines that have performed in the Premier League to a higher level than we've ever seen in the league. So is it a surprise that right now we're in a similar kind of title race with the two managers being exactly the same, with Liverpool being slightly behind in the transitional season that I think they needed probably last season? This midfield revolution probably helped by the fact that Saudi Arabia could spend a load of money on their kind of older players. That's happened a season later. I think Liverpool fans wanted some of this transition earlier. And look at Man City, winning the treble last season with a young forward line of Erling Haaland, Alvarez, someone like Doku, Rico Lewis coming through. It's a revolution for Guardiola's kind of second 11 for Man City. But both sides are absolutely geared up to be in a title race. Now, obviously, Liverpool lead in terms of the points, and I think they've led in terms of the form. I think looking at what Liverpool have built at the start of the season, I think it is quite special. There's not many managers that could bring in McAllister, Szoboszlai, Ryan Gravenberch, Endo, get Núñez firing in his second season to a higher level. Gakpo really in his first full season for Liverpool as well. There's not many managers that could handle all that transition, handle all those big names coming in, put a lid on all of them, make them all egoless and all fit into his system. There's not many managers that can do that in world football. Look at the struggles of Chelsea, look at the struggles of Barcelona of the last few years, and of course Man United. So Jurgen Klopp has got this side firing. I think they've been, obviously at the moment, they're the best side in the league so far. We're halfway through. But in terms of how they've played, how they've blown sides away, what they did against Newcastle is the highest XG we've ever seen in Premier League football. I don't care about those stats in particular, but if you do take some credence from the fact that just basically means they peppered Newcastle's goal to a level we've never seen in Premier League football before, that is something to be said about that. So this Liverpool side is absolutely in a position to win a lot of games, high-scoring games, and if they can shut up shop, I think the most impressive thing about the Newcastle performance and recent performances, yes, a little bit clumsy to concede 2 goals to Newcastle, but Liverpool got one of the best defensive records in the league this season, and I think it's down to Konate and Van Dijk. I think that partnership is becoming more stable. I know Jurgen Klopp liked to throw in Quansah a few times this season, and Matip as well, Joe Gomez, but the real quality, lasting, long-term relationship is Konate and Van Dijk. Konate is an absolute world-class centre-back waiting to happen. And if we're talking about defensive partnerships for Man City, Ruben Diaz has been out of form. John Stones is always injured. Ake and Akanji, decent against Sheffield United. And there's a lot of legs to that partnership in terms of the balance. The left foot of Ake, the right foot of Akanji. They're both very mobile. They're both humble, kind of hard-working players. But if you had to put money on who's going to have the best defence from now until the end of the season, you might have to put it on Liverpool. They have had so far. And Konate and Van Dijk Van Dijk's a world-class centre-back. And he's kind of getting close to his Rio Ferdinand season in 2013 when Rio Ferdinand at the back end of his career. I'm not saying Van Dijk's as old as that. But, Van Dijk will be looking, similarly to Salah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Those couple of players, maybe even Alisson, who was linked to Saudi Arabia in the summer, they'll be thinking this is a golden opportunity when City are just a little bit flat after winning the treble. It's a golden opportunity to win the Premier League, and I think they've got more than enough quality. Van Dijk has been absolutely exquisite this season. I think he's lost a yard of pace. I think he was made very vulnerable last season. I definitely noticed that in the Napoli game, I think it was, where I think Osimhen bullied him a little bit in Italy. I think he's now realised he can't always leverage his pace anymore. I don't think he can leverage the fact he's quick on the turn as he used to be when he was younger and less injury prone. Now I think he's a little bit smarter. He reminds me of John Terry at Chelsea at the back end of his career, Rio Ferdinand as well. Even Sol Campbell when he was at Portsmouth at the back end of his career, still being absolutely fantastic. Sometimes defenders, when they've gone through injuries, when they're at a certain age, they have to leverage themselves differently. So I think this Liverpool side are harnessing the experience of Van Dijk, Alisson, Konate to create an unbelievable defence. And we have to talk about the attacks going forward for Liverpool. Mohamed Salah is the best player in the world right now. He's operating at an unbelievable level. His link-up play to make Gakpo better, to make Nunez, who I think is still struggling, better, and even Diaz as well, Jota. He is creating a kind of flow in the front three that whoever plays in that front three, whatever position, there's been a lot of change. Obviously, even Diaz coming back from injury and coming in and out of side for personal reasons. Nunez not always fancied. Gakpo has been on and off. There's no question about that. Salah's been the one constant, and he's a world-class forward that's scoring a lot of goals. If we look at Man City, obviously De Bruyne is a massive factor to come back, and I'll be doing a lot of videos about him returning and being the best midfielder in the world soon on the channel. But you don't think Jurgen Klopp sat there thinking he's at a certain point, he looks a little bit brittle. The way he came back the way City rushed him back against Burnley, I thought was a little bit, not amateur, who am I to say, but it felt a little bit rushed, a little bit reckless in that regard. They'll be sitting there, Liverpool, thinking he might not even play 100% of the games from now until the end of the season. He might play 50% of the games, 40% of the games. That will make a massive dent in the title charge for City, because where do the goals come from? I think Phil Foden's picked up his form massively. I think Bernardo Silva has as well. But if those two get fallen off, they're not De Bruyne. You could argue the treble is really built on De Bruyne's brilliance, especially against Real Madrid in the Champions League. Liverpool will be sat there thinking this guy might be too brittle to play more than 12 games in the back end of this season, 15 games, at least starting those games. So that's where the opportunity lies for Liverpool in that regard. The front three for Man City with De Bruyne, it could almost be me left wing. I think De Bruyne would give me opportunities to score. That's how good he is. But Jack Grealish at points, Doku is inexperienced. There's no Riyad Mahrez anymore to kind of take the pressure off, especially when you're leading the game and there's pressure that the opposition are attacking. Riyad Mahrez was beautiful at holding the ball up and keeping possession high at the pitch, stretching teams with his passing ability as well. So City don't have that. City don't have that Mohamed Salah figure, literally. Erling Haaland is obviously one of the highest scorers in the Premier League this season. In Europe, he's still having a fantastic season, but it hasn't been clicking without De Bruyne. He is in a bit of a second season syndrome, which is relative to the high levels that he's set for himself. You have to sit there and think, is he influencing games enough when De Bruyne's not in the side? And at the moment, no. So City haven't figured that out, and that will be a huge opportunity for Liverpool in this title race. The two sides play. I'm looking forward to it. I'm so gassed for the Liverpool City game. 9th of March could be one of the biggest games for both clubs in a long time. City have just won the treble, but for Liverpool in particular, Anfield, what an opportunity it will be. But leading up to that, I mean, Liverpool have got a relatively straightforward run. Fulham a couple of times, Bournemouth, Chelsea at home, Burnley, Arsenal away. I think we'll learn a lot about Liverpool in these months, and if they arrive at the Man City game in a good position, they'll be a really, really tough side to deal with. I feel that City's running going into that 9th of March game is a little bit harder, actually. Everton at home, Brentford away in the mix, Newcastle United away. City have struggled down the last few years, no doubt about it. United, Bournemouth away, Chelsea at home. There's a couple there you think City might actually end up being 6, 7, 8 points behind Liverpool going into that Anfield game. If that's the case, we're really in a world of pain. We really, really are. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Is it a 2-horse race to win the Premier League title? And I'll see you very, very soon.